is mostly centered around identity politics. And although I completely understand and respect the excitement associated with
If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be stupid. There are some records which you might assume will never get broken, like pop quiz. What is the highest mountain above sea level? Mount Everest. That's probably not going to change, and that's great. Who is the most subscribed YouTuber on the platform? Mr. Beast. That's probably not going to change either, and that's great. And you might be 2 for 2 right now, but this last one is a trick question. What is the worst apology video on YouTube? Now, you might be tempted to answer Colleen Ballinger's apology video for grooming, in which she did not apologize for grooming at all, but instead played the ukulele for 10 minutes and called everybody who was criticizing her part of the toxic gossip train. And the ukulele apology would have been the correct answer at any point from its inception all the way until yesterday, because the streamer Dr. Disrespect has just returned to the platform to drop his apology for interacting with a minor from his fan base inappropriately. And as you're going to see, this chaotic, rambling 5-hour live stream is without a doubt the new worst apology video on YouTube. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of solar power lines of communication, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture, we are going to grade Dr. Disrespect's apology video. He's been gone for over 2 months, I guess just planning his reaction to a controversy that has been following him around for 4 years. And you're not going to believe how someone could have 4 full years to come up with a response. And this is what they decide to go with. So the best way to understand what Dr. Disrespect did is to look at it within the context of who Dr. Disrespect is. And Dr. Disrespect is remarkably stupid. That's really the only way he can be described as far as I'm concerned. But first, quick note about his name, which is a bit of a mouthful. In this video, I think I'm mostly going to be referring to him as Beam. That's his name, Guy Beam, which will probably be a little easier to say in a video several hundred times. And I'm also referring to him this way because it's important to note, above all, Guy Beam is a creep. Like, if this was not the internet and there was just some 40-year-old creep putting on a weird costume to lure children into a private space where he could talk to them inappropriately, aka the exact thing that Beam did, in the same costume he wears in all of his appearances, including his apology stream, just because that weirdo has a silly online handle, that doesn't really supersede your identity as a certified creep. Like, make no mistake, Dr. Disrespect isn't some sort of identity that needs to be respected. It's just his job title, a persona, and the mechanism that enabled him to be this creepy in the first place. If James Charles, of all people, tried to come back and rebrand himself as like Fortnite God 73, forgive me for most likely continuing to refer to him as James Charles. In fact, if anything, Beam is just James Charles, but in 17 years. An age range which both of them are a little too familiar with. Now, because the word stupid is a fairly strong accusation to level towards somebody, we're just going to go over a brief recap of all of Beam's top moments, in which you'll very quickly realize that anytime he has ever gone viral, it's because of some controversy that could only happen to you if you are one of the dumbest people on the internet. Example number 1. Besides Dr. Disrespect, to his fans, he's also commonly known as the Doc and the Two-Time, a nickname that he gave himself because he claims to be the 2-time 1993 to 1994 blockbuster video game champion. And so what is the worst possible way that branding yourself as the 2-time could backfire? Probably by going viral in 2017 for cheating on your wife. This man named himself 2-time and then revealed himself as a 2-timing cheater who betrayed his wife and family.
As you guys know, I have a beautiful family and a wife and kid, and I want to be transparent that I've been unfaithful.
He spent the entirety of this very short announcement shedding alligator tears.
Stupid mistakes, man.
This seems like a great time to bring up my opinion, which for some reason is considered a hot take by some people on the internet. But cheating is not a mistake, it's a deliberate choice that involves several steps over an extended period of time in which you have chosen to cheat before, during, and after. And regardless of whether you change afterwards or the severity of the consequences of those actions, I have literally never felt sympathy for anybody who has cheated when they had the ability to leave the relationship beforehand. Like, by all means, cry cry, feel terrible even, but I'm not really sure what you want me to do about that. Anyway, let's look at Exhibit 2 of Beam continuing to disprove natural selection. By 2019, he had bounced back from the cheating scandal, quickly becoming one of the most recognizable streamers on the internet. And yet, despite all the work it took to build back up his reputation, he threw it all away in literally one day. Imagine getting such a huge second chance at internet fame and then getting your main account banned because you walked into a bathroom. Dr. Disrespect streams inside an E3 bathroom, gets banned from Twitch. So he went to a gaming convention and decided to live stream the entire thing, including using the men's restroom, in which he violated the privacy of everybody inside without their consent, thereby resulting in not only the well-deserved Twitch ban, but also getting his E3 badge revoked. In 2019, Dr. Disrespect got kicked out of a convention for being a creep. Multiple people were visible in this stream, including some of them who were using the bathroom. And to risk your entire business for something that could have been avoided by simply taking a 2-minute break on your stream really indicates that, once again, the man is dumb. So the final moment that I would like to look at that proves that the wig may actually be affecting his brain at this point involves last year when he got triggered by somebody including pronouns in their bio.
Now everything's starting to make sense. Everything's starting to make sense. Got it.
This man isn't going to be very happy when he learns that his pronouns are also him. So you may be thinking to yourself like, wait, that moment didn't really hit like the other ones. Like, yes, obviously getting triggered by somebody else's pronouns is insanely stupid, but this is something that a lot of people do. It doesn't really have that Dr. Disrespect je ne sais quoi. Until it was later revealed that one of the people he cheated on his wife with was a self-described trans sex worker who posted extremely clear evidence that Dr. Disrespect was in fact texting her inappropriately. Live your life, Guy Beam, but maybe not at the expense of your entire family, and maybe not while also introducing the transphobic rhetoric that including your pronouns in your bio is somehow bad. So that is your Guy Beam biography. Naming yourself the two-time and then getting exposed as a two-timing cheater, thriving after the cheating scandal only to get banned for walking into a bathroom, and pretending to be anti-trans when you are very much into trans people. Guy is a very appropriate name because Beam is literally his own fall guy. He just lives in a constant cycle of setting himself up to look like the worst person in every single situation. But unfortunately, when the situation involved a minor, he demonstrated all of the stupidity but none of the comedic irony. So despite getting banned from Twitch for streaming in a bathroom, he was very quickly let back on and then offered an exclusive contract because he exploited the infinite second chance glitch called having privilege. But then just months after signing the multi-year Twitch deal, he was banned from the platform again. But this time, two things became very clear. This time, the ban was permanent, and everybody involved in this ban, including Beam, was keeping the reason a massive secret. Dr. Disrespect returns to live streaming on YouTube, offers no new info on Twitch ban. And so after moving from Twitch to YouTube, he played dumb the entire time. Honestly, we just don't know. It was a total shock. Imagine showing up to work and the doors are closed and you can't get inside. You've been fired, but you haven't been told the reason why. We weren't given an answer. It was the worst feeling. Now, many people begin to speculate that regardless of the reason, if it was serious enough for his infinite second chance glitch to fail, it must have been something pretty serious. But he managed to keep it a secret for 4 years until just a couple months ago, Rolling Stone drops an article called Dr. Disrespect knowingly sent explicit messages to a minor, former Twitch employee says. Now, Beam tried to ignore this very serious allegation. Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I need to say what I can say since this is the internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. So no wrongdoing was found is not really the surest sign that somebody's innocent, but at the end of the day, Twitch did not officially reveal the reason. It was sort of an employee's word against his, or should I say multiple, ex-Twitch employees, one of which who provided Rolling Stone with a detailed account of internal conversations at Twitch following the report of Beam's messages, and another one who told Rolling Stone that Dr. Disrespect was reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children the day of his ban, in compliance with federal law. Beam did not immediately respond to a request for comment on this. So the article makes it very clear that just due to the safety of the minor who was involved, these messages cannot be revealed. That is why nobody has publicly seen any evidence of these messages, despite this article seeming alarmingly credible. But then 3 days later, Beam just hopped on Twitter and completely admitted to messaging a minor inappropriately, thus confirming that the messages were in fact real and the Twitch employees were not lying about the reason behind his ban. The Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Something about these quick statements is they're never quick for some reason. Let's cut the BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility. So he starts off by apologizing to everyone in his community before the minor that he was exploiting, and then he apologizes to his team, and he said that he wasn't able to publicly disclose the reason behind the ban until now that the Twitch employees have come forward. But this part is really the kicker. Were there Twitch DMs with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Using the word mutual and trying to put some of the blame on the minor that you were being inappropriate with by your own admission is disgusting. Guy Beam, through and through, 100% is a creep, and that creepiness jumps out and is apparent even in his explanation for his creepy behavior. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Let me be clear. Just because nothing illegal happened does not change the fact that you have admitted to inappropriately messaging a minor in a DM, and in 2017 no less, meaning this is one of the people that you were cheating on your wife with, a child. Now he seems to want to get ahead of the legality does not equal morality thing, aka the truth, and so he says, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should never have entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll own my stuff. This was stupid. No. Everything else that Guy Beam has ever done in his career was stupid. This is egregious. This is the kind of person he really is, becoming clear to the entire world. He did not take responsibility by trying to shift some of the responsibility onto the child with the word mutual. He did not take responsibility when he edited the word minor out of his statement, just changing it to messages with an individual back in 2017, before eventually editing it back in. As this person points out, you can see each version of the tweet for yourself if you go to his profile. And at the time, I did see each version of the tweets. However, now nobody can see any version of the tweet because while he disappeared for 2 months after admitting to the inappropriate messages, Dr. Disrespect says he's coming back soon, deletes his admission of inappropriately texting a minor. And this 5-hour comeback stream, which is already sitting at 2.4 million views, was called The Truth. And it started off with Beam playing Wordle, the guessing game where you have to submit 5-letter words until you find the right one. Let's see. Creep, minor, groom, doesn't look like the right word either. Nasty. Nah, it's not idiot. Well, it looks like the word of the day when Beam recorded this stream was rerun, which I guess is very fitting for somebody who's completely washed up. So his attempt at an explanation and to clear his name begins about 25 minutes in.
For almost 4 years, the public demanded to hear from the doc regarding the Twitch suspension. I guess since you all missed the point with my personal statement, maybe it's time to tell my side of the story.
Never mind the fact that his personal statement was his side of the story, and there is literally no way to misinterpret inappropriately texting a minor when you were 35 years old. This person was a child, and at a minimum, Beam would have been twice their age. So let's see what excuses he has for this.
Ex-Twitch employee wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, why do this?
Why not? Honestly, like, why not do this? You'd better believe that if I knew somebody had this massive platform, 4.6 million subscribers even now, and I also knew that this person had messaged someone from that fan base inappropriately while they were a child, the moment I could safely reveal that information, I would do it.
What was the point? You decided, you rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned Me.
I think the point was accountability, that thing that you're apparently so good at taking.
Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me? You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do.
Okay.
CIA,
First of
you're
all,
cleared. Work
dear
your
God.
fragments.
Secondly, when I heard that line, I just knew then and there. I knew then and there this was on track to outpace the ukulele apology as the worst attempt at speaking up for yourself I have ever heard on the internet.
HVT
An attempt that
under
was
fire.
doomed from the start
HVT
because you
under
are in
fire.
fact guilty of the thing everybody is accusing you of.
You also said the word minor. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, editing,
Our HVT
etc.
has been
Just to make sure
eliminated.
these so-called journalists would pick up on
Enemy
it.
HVT is down.
And boy,
Protect
oh
our
boy, did they
HVT.
ever.
So, okay, hold on. I'm trying to like
HVT is taking
shift
fire.
my
Keep the
brain
package
into
safe.
stupid right now. Patrick from
Your tactics don't
SpongeBob,
work.
Minions,
Find another way.
Skybeam. Okay, I think I'm there,
Enemy
and I can
HVT on
understand what
site.
he's
Take
saying.
them out.
You told the entire world that you were inappropriately messaging a minor because you were trying
Take out
to
our
bait
HVT.
journalists. What are you on right now?
When you and all these so-called journalists fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages?
May have been over the age of legal consent. Sure doesn't sound like 18 to me. You want to go ahead and say the age, or...
You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon.
Oh, okay, no, I
Taking
guess
the
we
lead.
don't want
Stay
to
on
say this
top.
person's age. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and stick with Beam's original admission
They've
here
taken the
and
lead.
point out that this person was a child.
We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact,
We're winning.
never
Keep
met
it
in
that way.
person ever. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack.
Well, it didn't take long to pull out that play. You guys just tried to convince everyone that I'm a
Warning
creep
behind,
because
Crimson.
you hated me. And I played along because,
HVT has been eliminated.
journalists? Question mark? Like, this is literally falling apart in real time as he is delivering it.
If these anonymous sources
Ida,
worked
you're
on
the
the trust and
HVT.
safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are.
Okay, he's scaring me. I'm scared,
Be on site.
and
Take them
I
out.
need an adult. I am an adult, though, to be clear. Had to throw that out there because I don't want any Dr. DMs.
The same employees that decided to ban me internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material ceasing.
Oof, okay, so if the strongest defense you have against the fact that everyone believes you are a creep and a groomer is that technically your messages did not constitute child sexual exploitation materials, the bar is in hell at this point. Or maybe we are, considering this video has 2 million views.
Neither I nor the
took out
Twitch
their
user
HVT.
exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. I even used the word inappropriate
Hostile
purposely.
HVT
And look at how it's
located.
defined by everyone, champs. Huh?
HVT
Including the defaming articles.
Safe.
Oh, this is just so painful. I believe we're witnessing internet history here. I have never seen somebody defend themselves against an action
Enemy
by
HVT
saying that they
down.
admitted to it to trick
Taking the
everybody
lead.
into believing they did it, even though they didn't. But if inappropriate wasn't the right word to use, then what, pray tell, was?
I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
Ah, okay. Mutual banter with inappropriate messages. So inappropriate messages.
HVT on
What
site. Take them out.
message can be taken out of context to make it seem like you are inappropriately messaging
Friendly
a
HVT
minor?
on
The
site.
thing that
Keep
you
them
said you
safe.
did and are also saying you did here. And now he seems to think he didn't even deserve the ban when the platform
their
that they banned you
HVT.
on was the one you were using to access this child.
How would each of you
HVT
look
is taking
if all of your
fire.
private
Keep the package
DMs, your
safe.
text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
HVT has been
Not like I
eliminated.
was sexting a child, that's for sure. I feel like that's the case for most people who don't talk to kids half their
Hostile
age about
HVT
weird stuff on
located.
the internet.
We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were legal.
This dude is cracked. Like, genuinely, he has just lost it. I don't even know how else to put it. You're cracked, you're cooked. It's crazy that you think this is a good defense. It's crazy that you were messaging a child like this in the first place, let alone trying to now drag us into this fantasy world where you didn't deserve the ban regardless of that. And also it was okay because it was just taken out of context. A context which you are completely unwilling to give any more information on. Probably because it would make him look even worse somehow. But he's sure doing a good enough job of making himself look worse already. Because yelling like a maniac about how technically nothing you did was illegal doesn't really have the effect he seems to think it does.
So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. Just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence?
HPT on site. Keep them safe.
Okay, what in the world was that? Coincidence? You think you put the curly hair on and you're a TikToker now? Like, what was that all about?
The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch, but this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told them clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
So a child came to an adult in your life and was unwilling to go to authorities about you being inappropriate with them. But then this adult very rationally, very correctly helped them understand that this was inappropriate and needs to be escalated. But he is now spinning this as, actually, that guy just had a grudge against me. This is genuinely unhinged.
On June 24th, 2020, Twitch's special operations team receives and reviews the user's reports. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any further escalation to Twitch's law enforcement response team. But that partner manager, oh boy, did he had it out. He had it out for the two times.
So his manager, random ex-Twitch employees, and the media, all journalists, I guess, are his ops, because this man seems to think that the character he's playing is the main character of everybody's life.
He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do? He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team, remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team. The LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context from the whisper messages to this director. Now, if you do this, you can make anyone's messages look inappropriate.
So Twitch's law enforcement team did determine that your messages constituted a ban. Great. Got it. Useful information.
This LER analyst and his director have made the decision to suspend me from Twitch. Twitch submits that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what? As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report. They didn't escalate Twitch's report to law enforcement.
This man really just pulled out the Drake defense. This man really just did that with his whole chest. If I was being a predator, I'd promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the thing you just suggested. If I really did the wrong thing, there would have been legal ramifications. There weren't. That's my absolute proof that I did nothing wrong.
Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's unbelievable!
It's actually so very believable, because the age of consent being lower than 18 wouldn't change the fact that you were sending inappropriate messages to a child regardless of their age. So do you honestly think that Twitch wants any of that smoke over you? Absolutely not.
The judge in the case determined that the whispers were not illegal. So then why did Twitch use these messages against me? Why did Twitch treat the doc so differently from their other streamers?
Their other streamers. All right, so now we've pulled out the part of the playbook where we start pointing out that other people have also done the wrong thing and they didn't get consequences.
But I also didn't do all this that they're saying I did. But then that doesn't make a story, right? They wanted media attention. The media wants controversy.
Anonymous Twitch employees wanted media attention, only one of which is public at this point. Pretty sure the attention seeker would be the one wearing the same outfit that lures children into the fan base in the first place. But anyways,
you all got what you wanted at the expense of the two-time. The reality is they wanted to cut down the doc, plain and simple.
But why? Why do people like this think the entire world is out to get them? I know it just has to be an ego thing, but How could you truly believe that anybody cares about you that much?
Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming. Streamer was reported for discussing doing things with deceased animals. Streamer was reported for a sexually explicit stream involving children and telling children to send Snapchats. It's so obvious that certain Twitch executives, employees involved had personal biases against the doc.
So because he's
Keep
not
referring to yourself in the
racist
third person, please.
into
Thank you.
bestiality or looking at
Not
videos
weird.
of children, this is why Twitch should not have banned you. I don't even know who the streamers he's referring to are, or if these stories are real, or if they exist, or whatever. But it kind of doesn't matter at all in this specific case because it's only being used
You know
as
what land they
deflection.
expect.
If you know
Get
who
it
these people
done.
are and they're such monsters, then just say it. You know what I mean? Like, why would you take this
You
really
claimed the
serious
advantage, now
information
hold it.
and only use it as a reason for why you think you shouldn't have been banned?
You see, I shouldn't even be banned from Twitch. I just have to say it
Stars have the
again.
hard point.
Why would you do this?
Hard
This
point
was
is
handled
secure.
professionally years ago. We just lost.
Stars have captured the hard point.
Unfortunately, we have to lay off people from Midnight Society.
So innocent people in your employ are now being affected by your actions, but you're gonna go ahead and blame this on the fact that you got outed as a
Stars
creep,
reclaim the
not
lead.
on the
Wolf
fact
mob.
that you are a creep. Is the accountability in the room with us right now? Because I'm really not picking up on it.
For all you doc haters, I'm sure you'll dissect all of this and still find a way to publicly criticize me.
I'm gonna be so real with you right now. I don't even have to find a way to publicly criticize this person. I literally could have just ripped this section of the stream in its entirety and then posted it on my channel, and I'm pretty sure the comments would still be the same, which is that you are an unhinged creep. So the man's doing a bit more of the heavy lifting here than he seems to realize.
And I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, kids. I'm not denying that to all of you out there who looks bad. I have no way of knowing that the Twitch users thought our exchange of whispers was inappropriate. If it was, I apologize.
And there it was. I'm sorry if I offended you. This is it. This is it. This is just it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even a question in my mind. This is the worst YouTuber apology of all time. Hands down, no more submissions. I have no idea how this could ever be topped. I thought that about the ukulele, but this is like so much worse in my opinion.
I'm not saying anything more about any of this unless I need to, because trust me, I have more I haven't disclosed. I just want to get back to what we do.
Setting yourself up for failure and then failing, and then everyone laughs at you, and then you look dumb. He is very good at that. I guess I do have to give the doc props where they're due. And so, just in case there was any question about this being the worst, after supposedly ending this rant, people were saying, yo, why don't you just show the messages, since they are apparently taken out of context? And I'm not advocating that the messages were shared, since multiple people seem to deem that this would have been a safety issue, but his response to this, once again, is him saying the worst possible thing he could in this situation.
People want,
Show the message. Release the messages. Show the messages.
what are we in second grade?
What are we? In second grade, says the man whose legacy is now inappropriately messaging a minor. Admitting to it?
Yo, until he does release those messages, all of this means fuck off.
And then trying to come back and say it's fine though, because technically it wasn't illegal. Your last two words on this statement are second grade. This is the dumbest man on YouTube. And you know what the most infuriating part is? His fan base ate it up. And because that stream did have like 2 million views and at one point over 250,000 concurrent viewers, they're out here trying to act like he won. Nah, the doc won. He beat the allegations. That Uno reverse was crazy. But what's crazy is that you don't realize the fact that he is able to continue his career is not an indicator of his victory. It's an indicator of your stupidity if you're still supporting him. It's an indicator of the collective capacity for stupidity. Because even before the inappropriate minor allegations were released, but after the 2-time cheating scandal and the bathroom incident, you got people saying he's such a likable guy. And I don't think people realize how brilliant his character is. Seeing the man behind the character, I simply cannot believe how talented and smart he is. Smart guy. And one could argue he must be somewhat smart if he was able to become one of the top streamers and maintain his relevance throughout years years and years of controversy. A lot of things that would honestly have ended most people's careers. But he's not in this position because he's smart. He's in this position because dumb people idolize the epitome of their idiocy. Donald Trump and Andrew Tate aren't smart because a lot of people listen to them. There's no 4D chess, no mastermind theory behind how they wound up in the position they're in. It's just a bunch of people who see themselves in the CEOs of being a dumb person. To take yourself with any level of seriousness when you show up on the internet dressed like this every day is wild. And this is coming from me, the man who shows up on the internet dressed like this every day. But no, it's not surprising to me at all that this man still has a fan base when the people who have been in the fan base the longest have years of experience running defense for him after the cheating scandal. Never in my life have I been surrounded by so many people who have never made a mistake in their lives. You can be a cheating apologist and idolize a creep all day, and millions of those people can come together to do this, but that doesn't change the fact that the person in question is the disgraced laughingstock of the entire internet and has been for years. This man was out here getting bodied in Fortnite by people with usernames like Dr. Cheats on Life. Look at this face. He knows. That's the thing that none of his fans seem to realize. He is completely aware that nothing he says about himself is actually true, and that outside of his bubble, he is just seen as what he truly is. I'm just gonna Google Dr. Disrespect meme. Wow, first result. The doc has EDP 445, aka a child predator. EDP memes, people comparing you to Drake and Andrew Tate never went pro because he prefers the minors. These are the first 4 results. I did not put Dr. Disrespect allegations meme. This is just how people see you. Guy Bean's life work, like the sum total of all of his actions on the internet over the last decade almost, his biggest achievement is just gathering all of the predator apologists on the internet into one fan base. So congrats, I guess. Many people owe Doc a big apology. Man, did he ever make those haters look silly. We now know what inappropriate meant. Mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of content. There's still one thing not adding up. Wait, what? Let me be honest, I was rooting for the Doc. I love his streams and I was hoping he would set the record straight, but there was one line that left a sour taste in my mouth. They failed to check the legal age of consent in the Whisper state. If there was no sexting involved and nothing sexual, why would that have even been relevant? Oh wow, it's just not adding up. You can't say it wasn't sexual, then use age of consent as one of your argument points. I didn't even really put 2 and 2 together there, but that is exceedingly strange. But nah, whoever made that post, screw you. After hearing this, Doc, I'm done with Twitch. From now on, it's gonna be only YouTube and Kick for me. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. Welcome back, Doc. If 1.4 million views is considered falling off, then Doc must have fallen onto an elevator. Oh, you almost got it. This person almost understands that guy failed upwards. He did fall off into an elevator. Elevators move by themselves. They are not powered by any inherent skill that one possesses. So they are built-in structures which certain people are able to take advantage of due to their proximity to them. Again, I don't have to try to make Dr. Disrespect look terrible, and I don't think anybody outside his fan base has to do that, because it kind of seems like some of them have that covered already without even realizing. Anyway, my verdict is that he should have just ditched the drag and dipped. Like, retire your drag persona, get rid of all the camp, and just thank your lucky stars that you did all of the nastiest stuff you're known for while wearing what is essentially a mask, and then leave forever. You know, why did he not just ditch the internet? Deciding that the public humiliation is worth the money you're going to get is wild. But looking back over this man's entire career, I can't help but wonder if the public humiliation is part of the appeal for him. How else do you wind up in this position every single time for like 7 years? It's just absurd. But that's my take on the situation. Dave's take is that the Doc just needs to pick a struggle, because when you are dumb, loud, wrong, and a creep, it's giving attention seeker at that point. And I am of course excited to hear your take. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, or leave a comment, but instead I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I am of course running a 100% completely, totally, not really, but kind of maybe unaccredited university. Probably. Just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm.
So So he said he was going to his friend's house to play video games.
He left at 3:30.
I don't know the exact time.
This woman is in the midst of lying to police. Just hours ago, she brutally murdered her son Gannon, hid his body in the basement, and called 911 to report him missing. Officers at the scene have no idea what they walked into, and they will quickly find themselves entangled in this killer's twisted lies.
Is there anybody down here?
No.
No one.
So then when I get downstairs, he had one of the guys.
Which city?
He asked me to give him a suitcase.
Is Gannon in a dumpster?
No.
You didn't hurt Gannon, did you kill Gannon?
But this was just the beginning of her lies.
Why would I hurt our child? I had everything in the world. I have no motive.
So tell me where he is and let me help you.
I don't know where he is. All I can tell you is I did not hurt him.
HPT is taking fire. Keep back the safe. What's going on out there?
In the early hours of January 27th, Letitia texts her supervisors at Widefield School District 3, stating that she cannot come to work. Allegedly, her stepfather was killed in a hit and run, and she has to tend to his passing. Nearly 6 hours later, at 9:56 a.m., Letitia sends another text to her employers. This time, she states that Gannon is sick and she needs to stay home. However, just 20 minutes later, at 10:16 a.m., a neighbor's surveillance camera captures Letitia and Gannon entering their red Nissan Frontier and driving away. During this time, Letitia would visit a Petco on Nevada Avenue instead of visiting a doctor to treat her allegedly sick son. By 2 p.m., both Gannon and Letitia returned home. But something was off. Not only did Letitia purchase cleaning supplies moments after their return, but backed all the way into her driveway. According to family and friends, Letitia never backed up all the way into the driveway. But for now, only one credible conclusion can be made. The only person last in contact with Gannon was his own stepmother. And oddly enough, she would report him to be missing 5 hours later at 7 p.m.
My son was going to be home at 6 o'clock, and it's almost 7. And we went to like all his friend's house. He said he was going to be at his friend's house, and they said he wasn't there, and the other one said he never came there. So I don't know any other people to call and ask. And I talked to my husband, so I told him I had to call you guys as fast as I could because I don't know anyone else here that he could be. He's only 11.
With this call, officers rushed to Letitia's home in an attempt to gather as much information as possible because every single second, Gannon's trail gets colder.
Did he take his bike?
No.
Okay, because somebody saw a little kid on a bike. They posted it, but I didn't know if he brought it.
Well, he didn't, unless he took it sooner and brought it back because Lena ends up getting the bike.
What color is the bike?
Dinner.
Blue
And he
and
never
black.
They thought he was at his friend's house. He was like,
Yeah, there's
He never
a
went to his
picture
friend's
someone
house.
said he was on.
Okay.
And he was making the switch.
For someone who just realized their son is missing, Letitia is strangely calm. Not only that, she states with her initial alibi that Gannon was visiting her friend, which is clearly a lie, as Gannon never left the home after his return. Undoubtedly, something is very wrong here. But for these officers, Letitia is nothing more than a concerned mother as they continue to search her home.
Okay, because you weren't in here in the beginning, right? I didn't know if I had that box cutter and all that stuff in there because I told him about he dropped the candle last night.
Oh, okay.
And I thought I must have picked it up. I was just making sure. I didn't want you to be like, oh, just a box cutter. But yeah, I had to cut this. And I told them I wasn't even going to tell Dad. And I was going to figure out how to put this in from the situation. But right, I just took it and like covered up with the carpet and stuff like that.
Does he have any friends around here?
There is a, let me look on this thing. He did have this one, like, boat thing.
Yeah. But they checked that already? They went over there and talked to her, and they're like, no, we hadn't seen him at all. Oh, okay.
He did have this, like,
And you talked to parents, right? You didn't talk to...
Yeah, Connor's mom came over, who is a friend he goes and hangs out with all the time. So they come over, the people here, the friends, they were just the ones that were at the door with the bike. Okay. They came over, bunch of people came over.
Keep in mind that officers have not yet completed their house search. They have only gone through the home superficially. Yet, oddly, Letitia is trying her best to keep them restrained to two sections of the house. The living room, where there is a burnt piece of carpet, and Gannon's room. This strange behavior would only worsen as Letitia is committed to keeping the officers where they are.
He forgets to like bring this or bring that or bring this or bring that. You know?
Still good.
Yeah.
So no clothes are missing or nothing?
No, we actually lay out all the clothes all the time, like for, you know, like every day at school, we lay out clothes, we do whatever.
What's his jacket called?
He had on he has several jackets. Like it depends on, I'm very like fashion. So like it just depends on jackets. Like he might have this black one with this, or there's a blue one with this.
So you had a jacket?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Several jackets. Like when you see the kids, like tons of clothes and this, you know, he has all that stuff. So.
There's a weird text that Dad got about something about bath salts. And hey, if I can get some bath salts, do we have any bath salts? Yeah. And my friend will let me play Sonic or something at their house. Yeah, I got it. And then Mom goes through everything, finds this partner. Yeah.
This is the exact moment that officers realized that Letitia was hiding something from them. It's strange that she randomly closes the door here as if there was something in the basement that she didn't want the cops to see. And her behavior, words, and strategies to deflect the cops from certain areas of the house did not go unnoticed. Consequently, her devices were subjected to a forensic analysis where officers would come across a disturbing video recorded on Sunday, January 26th, a day before Gannon supposedly went missing.
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm gonna touch you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? He did it! Okay, you promise. You promise. On purpose. Pinky promise. Pinky. Okay, right, so, listen, we're gonna have to sell stuff to fix it. So, we'll figure out what we gotta sell. We can sell a sofa, because we gotta get it fixed, so lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out the house. Okay?
This video was recorded by Letitia when Gannon supposedly dropped a candle on the carpet, leaving a burn mark. What the video doesn't show is that Gannon sustained burn injuries on his arms from the candle, and rather than treating his burns, Letitia inserted scolding him instead. Additionally, during the phone analysis, officers discovered a phone call that Letitia had made to her husband, Albert Stouch, informing him of the situation.
He told me it was just his arms. So I didn't see anything that would have thrown a flag that I had to be like, oh my God, emergency or anything like that.
But if his arms was bubbling, that's not an emergency?
Well, it had a burnt skin, like it was just underneath. In my mind, I'm like, let's evaluate the situation tomorrow and see or whatever. It wasn't burn mark, it was bubbly. I didn't see it as a bad thing. I just knew he was like, it's not hurting. We put aloe on it, and I assumed, okay.
As heartbreaking as this call is, the burns described are likely second degree because of both the freezing feeling that Gannon described and the presence of blisters. Things aren't adding up, and the story so far paints a really bad light on Letitia. However, officers need to verify what really happened, as it was after this incident that Gannon disappeared. That's why on January 30th, 3 days after Gannon's disappearance, Letitia was called in for an interview so detectives could understand the circumstances surrounding the situation.
So Gannon had started a candle. Again, normal day. He's very responsible in terms of if you give him something and say do this, and this, and like a list to prepare, he's fine. So we let him, do things like that. So I didn't see a problem with him, light a candle, whatever. And Lena asked me could she stay up and still watch the rest of her iPad or whatever. It was just her birthday, and I was trying to give her a little bit extra because we went all out for Gannon's birthday. Like, we took him to a Rockies game. We took friends with him.
It is already strange that Letitia is going on several tangents and prefacing this entire conversation with the loving relationship she had with her children, especially with her daughter, Harley Hunt, whom she would refer to as Lena, almost as if she wants to say that whatever happened with the candle was not intentional.
So it starts beeping. It's like a beep, 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 beep. And I thought that someone was coming coming in the house. I didn't see anything going on. Then it started saying fire, 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 fire. So there was smoke coming up through the basement. So then I ran back downstairs to get in. And then the fire was on the floor over here, then on the sofa. So I'm pretending this is the sofa on the floor. So it was right here and right here. And I saw the candle that was over here. So there was covers everywhere because the kids always get on about, they leave a lot of covers laying around all the time. I take a whole bunch of them and I go and like basically smash down on the sofa and the fire to put it out. So I got a burn and then I was like, get up again and started running at that point because it wakes him up. He's alert. He's realizing that the covers and everything's on fire, the carpet's on fire, and we all were outside.
Essentially, what occurred was a freak accident from Gannon. Due to him accidentally knocking over a candle, a small fire had somehow ignited on the carpet in the basement. This was the same cut-up section of the carpet that Letitia had previously shown officers. But this was odd. Second-degree burns by just a knocked-over candle, especially on both arms, is unlikely, if not impossible. Gannon would have also had enough common sense to run away from flames. After all, it was a slow-moving fire caused by a candle. If this wasn't strange enough, Letitia begins to recount the injuries Gannon suffered, but this time, they would be different from what she told Albert.
I was scared because my thought process was Albert is going to kill me. Because I made a mistake as a parent and forgot to really check him down. And he really got a little bit more hurt than he should have. So I was freaking out because he's gonna kill me. And Gannon's like, it's okay, and there was blood. And he had it on his arm, and as it was peeling, and I should have called. I should have called the hospital and just asked, I don't know enough about her, but I should have called the hospital and just asked, I made a mistake.
To quote, Letitia just said more than he should have, and secondly, implied that Gannon was somehow bleeding because of burns, an apparent contradiction to what she told Albert. More importantly, this was a massive slip-up by Letitia, and detectives suspect that this fire wasn't a simple mistake. However, there is no way to confirm this situation as of now, but there is one conclusion that officers can make. Letitia is lying. When a suspect is guilty, they often make major changes to alibis, as opposed to someone who is innocent and has little variation in their story. In Letitia's case, she changes major details about the candle incident, especially her response, which was recorded on her phone, which sets off a series of red flags for the detectives, as they now believe that she might go as far as changing her original alibi about Gannon's disappearance too, and begin to question her about it. If this assumption turns out to be true, there is a high likelihood that Letitia is withholding even more crucial information.
He goes in through the garage, I go in, I'm getting ready to put up the thing, stuff like that. As we got inside, I heard something. But I didn't think anything about it because I thought, maybe they were doing something, maybe doing whatever.
Enemies destroyed your trophy system.
And the guy was in there. And I gave him the code. The guy from the... Yeah, it's all my fault. Because I gave him a code to fix the carpet. Okay. And I shouldn't have. And when I walked downstairs, I hear something again. Well, at that point in time, Gannon was on the sofa and I saw him. And I heard something again and I walked on around. He was standing in there. He had on gloves. In the store. Yes. Okay. He had one of the gloves. And then he just knocked me down and towards came through. And he was hitting on me. It was hard, on the ground. And he was trying to break me.
Exactly as predicted, Letitia's alibi has changed from Gannon visiting a friend's house to having an intruder break into her home. But this would only be the start of her outrageous lies as, according to her, confrontation with this stranger escalates.
And I'm pleading and talking and all these things going on. Just back and forth with him. And why are you doing this? Why did you hurt us? Why are you doing these things? And then he was on top of me again. And then I kind of lied out again because he was hitting my head again. Really? And then, yes, and then he was he asked me to give him a suitcase. And I gave him a brown suitcase. And then he hit me on the head again. And I was right here.
Point identified.
He kept hitting me right there like that. Okay. And so then he did that, and then I wiped out again. I was having having panic attacks. And then I don't know what happened from there. I really don't. I don't know. I just know that I did lie. I did. When they came, I did say, Gannon left. Whatever, but you know that. But he never did. He never left to go play. I just didn't know what to do, and I panicked in the moment. And I didn't want Albert to be like trying to hurt us. We kind of get in a lot of fight. Yeah. And I just want you to know that's the only reason that I made up the lie.
A simple way to check whether she's been assaulted is using a sexual assault nurse examiner at a local hospital. These are registered nurses who receive special training to collect forensic evidence from assault survivors. Conveniently, Letitia rejected this examination when officers offered it to her. Not only that, but even CCTV footage confirms the fact that no one entered or left the Stout residence after Letitia and Gannon came home. She likely thought that this poorly planned story would absolve her of any crimes. Fortunately, quite the opposite happened. Noticing these contradictions, police officers handed this case over to the FBI, who gathered CCTV footage from neighbors and came to a harrowing realization. The morning after Gannon's disappearance, Letitia rented a Kia Rio for 24 hours and left the house at approximately 8:30 a.m. on the 28th of January. When the car was returned the following day at 8 a.m. on the 29th of January, it had clocked in at 955 miles in the span of one day. This could mean only one thing. Letitia had likely murdered Gannon after their return at 2 p.m. and on the morning of January 28th, left to dump his body. While this much is easy to figure out, the exact details surrounding the murder are still not known. This is why 1 month after Gannon's disappearance, on March 2nd, federal investigators called Letitia in for yet another interview to piece together this confusing puzzle of Gannon's disappearance and possibly his murder.
Because of the nature of the warrant, it being a murder warrant, we need to know the real story because you put out quite a few different stories. We heard a lot of the stories out.
The reason I already knew someone was listening to him, but because of him not ever being supportive, and I tried originally to talk to him when he first got there, that was the only reason I said those things to him, was just because I was out of anger and out of hurt and not being able to have support. It was nothing to do with me saying those things to him was just being what is the word you want to call it? Selfish or racist or whatever you want to call it. I did have originally initial different thoughts on certain things, but I was trying to basically read him and try to figure the situation out. So I understand that you may have heard those or whatever you may have heard, and that's okay because that totally was not.
What Letitia is referring to hearing are rumors about the friction between her and Albert. Since he was a National Guard, Albert was rarely home, and Letitia felt he gave little attention to her. This had resulted in instability in their relationship, which Letitia initially denies as being small apprehensions she felt about him. However, when the officer confronts her about odd searches on her phone, she goes into a state of absolute panic.
You know, in here, I even have what you have on your phone. The stuff that you've entered and deleted, blood is spurting from an arterial bleed, direct pressure not controlled.
What? I didn't look this up.
It's from your phone.
Blood is what?
Spurting from an arterial bleed. Somebody did it from your phone. I don't like my stepson. I don't like my stepson. Should I get a divorce? I'll stalk cheating. I'll stalk Instagram. I'll stalk cheating in Colorado Springs. How to get blood out of sheets.
Out of sheets?
I want to use.
Oh, the blood out of sheets was because we always had always captured the hard point. If I ever looked at blood out of sheets, it was nosebleed. I didn't ever look anything about an artery or something unless it went from something else.
It's on your phone.
And I never looked at anything about my stepson or someone else did.
The searches that the investigator just named would only be a few of the 34 searches that Letitia made between the 25th and the 28th of January, which is the exact time frame that Gannon went missing. Conveniently, she would have an excuse for every single one of them.
The reason I brought up gangs is you looked up, I wanted to use it because it was gang related. And this sounds like find me a new husband, find me a rich guy treat you differently, which I get that. Parenting should be for people, not one. But a societal person might say, these make me very sad when I read them because I can see you're doing all the work at home by yourself.
I wanted to be that. Like, I wanted to totally advocate for my children. That's the point you're not getting. Like, I wanted those kids to be saying to me that I'm the mom. Like, I am the person who does hears from them every day.
If these were not incriminating enough, investigators also found 12 deleted search terms in Letitia's iPhone, all of which pertaining to her wanting to find a new husband and being sick of being with Albert.
What do you do if you suspect a person swallowed poison? Did somebody actually swallow poison?
I don't know. I always click things and read them. No one
Did somebody swallow it?
No one swallowed any poison.
You will never forgive me and treat me like a princess. You'll never know when it's too late.
Oh yeah, I mean, I always search for things when Albert was gone.
What is an altered plea? Did you figure out what an altered plea was?
Altered plea?
Yeah.
I think someone asked me that I probably searched it.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
You made it look easy.
I don't remember. I just remember some things. Because someone was writing that online, so if anyone wrote something online, I looked it up. Just like the other day, someone wrote something about FBI coming or something, and if I see something online, I always Google it.
Usually when a suspect undergoes a criminal trial and is found guilty of a crime, they are given a maximum sentence. However, there is a legal loophole to avoid this. If a suspect pleads guilty, yet remains adamant that they are innocent, then they are not given a maximum punishment. Instead, they are given a known punishment for a crime. This is known as the Alford plea. But as always, Letitia has a convenient story for a search as incriminating as this and continues deflecting any and all evidence. Because of this cathartic behavior, the detective decides to reroute the conversation elsewhere. A preliminary investigation of the house found blood splotches covering the rear of the truck, Gannon's living space, and even the cut-up carpet.
I've seen the markers from the spray. The spray went from the bed all the way up here. But you had to clean it up.
I don't know anything about that.
It comes from aspirated blood.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
No.
It means that he didn't accidentally do it.
Okay. Whatever.
So that's what we were waiting on for the warrants, because somebody struck Gannon in the bed.
If someone struck Gannon in the bed, thank God we were all drugged then. If that's what you're saying happened.
Well, then can you tell me how that blood got on the wall?
Sure.
That's Gannon's blood on the wall.
Okay, well, I guess, sir, if you think you have all the answers, then
You're making me guess.
I'm not.
You've got the answers.
I'm not making you guess, sir.
It doesn't look like it does on TV. Have you ever watched Criminal Minds or Profilers?
I don't watch any of that stuff because I don't do bad things to people.
You know, good people watch those shows.
But I don't do any of that. I don't do bad things to people.
Right now, you're the last person with Gannon.
I don't do bad things to people. I don't
think you do bad things to people.
I don't do bad things to anyone, and I didn't do anything bad to Gannon.
I think something bad happened to Gannon, and I don't know of a way to get you to tell me about it.
Gannon returned home on the 27th of January. A doorbell camera had captured audio of neighborhood dogs being sent into a frenzy by what appeared to be Gannon screaming. By 5 p.m., 3 hours after these screams, Letitia had ordered her daughter, Harlan Hunt, to buy cleaning supplies from a nearby Dollar Tree at 5 p.m. These included baking soda, vinegar, trash bags, and carpet powder from a nearby Dollar Tree. The baking soda and carpet powder to absorb the odor of blood and clean minor stains on the carpet. The vinegar was bought to remove deeper stains on walls and act as a disinfectant, and the trash bags to hide Gannon's body. A body that officers had missed by mere inches and had been hidden away in some part of the basement or garage. And every single location that Letitia showed officers, the garage, the carpet, and Gannon's room, were all locations that Gannon had bled in. Not only that, her searches about human anatomy from before indicate that she stabbed Gannon in the artery, which resulted in arterial spray, after which Letitia desperately tried to clean up the evidence of her crimes. This is also the reason she had backed up all the way into her driveway, as the rear end of her vehicle was filled with blood, indicating that it had taken place prior to them returning home. Knowing that the investigator is catching on to this story, her initial attempts of feigning innocence now turn into desperate attempts to deflect everything that she is told.
Why would I hurt our child? I have everything in the world. Why? I have no motive. None. Don't have the first motive. Everything I wanted in my life, I had it. Why? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense a lot of the time. What happens inside of a house?
And sir, I don't even know what you're talking about. All I can tell you is, I did not hurt you.
Notice that she uses the word motive, which is often terminology that is used by law enforcement when charging a criminal, corroborating the facts that she had done her due diligence about the law in case she got caught, just like her searches about the Alford plea. Regardless, the investigator knows that there is a limit to how much she can refuse cold, hard facts, and begins to pressure her even further by promising her that he is more concerned about Gannon's safety rather than her crimes.
I do no doubt, and whether you did this or not, it doesn't matter to me. With all the evidence that they have, the reason why it took so long is the district attorney wanted to wait till they made sure they could win. And I've done nobody homicides before. They have more on this case than we do on most people.
Okay, but if you have what you need, why do you keep asking me?
Because our goal is to find Gannon. Our goal is not to prosecute you. That is the district attorney's job. We're investigators. And like you've just seen, I do a poor job about half the time because I have to guess. Because as much as we're trying to track you at your cars and your phones and whatever else, there are gaps. We do have, like I told you, the blood in the house. We do have female off the board that are strong in the forest. Letitia.
I'm sorry,
the board that has Gannon's blood on it that was down in the forest. You got your DNA on it.
Presented with such overwhelming evidence, a suspect would usually crack under the pressure and allow themselves to be arrested. In Letitia's case, however, not only does she keep refuting everything the detective has to say, but even goes as far as accidentally giving him even more incriminating information.
The blood that you or your team allow people to be in the house.
That is no bearing.
Okay, well, if it doesn't, then okay.
It doesn't.
Okay, so
you ready to tell me the last time you saw Gannon?
okay, maybe check one of them. Because
I bet you they can tell me the last time they saw Gannon, even though it was months before. I bet Al can tell you the last time you saw Gannon, even though he didn't know that was going to be the last time. I guarantee you he's got an image of Gannon. But you were the last one with him, Letitia.
Now, Letitia has just agreed that she was the last person who saw Gannon. Not only this, but throughout this interview, she has also admitted to Gannon's injuries, blood locations, and motives. With all of this information that Letitia herself provided, this was less of an interrogation and more of a confession of murder. Letitia was a broken individual. She cast aside her husband and 2 children because of 2 major reasons. 1, Albert's job in the National Guard made her resent him and wish she was married to someone better. 2, her extreme inferiority complex towards Gannon's biological mother, Landon Bullard. It was later found that during the candle incident, Gannon had wished for his mom to be present, which sent Letitia into a psychotic break, and she attempted to mask her murder in the form of an accidental fire. This failed attempt only added fuel to the fire, so the very next day she called in a vacation from work and spent the day brutally murdering Gannon and erasing any traces of her crimes. With these findings, there was no escape for Letitia. And 8 days after this interview, she was officially arrested for her crimes. And while being transported to a county jail, out of pure frustration and insanity, she turns to the only other option she has, becoming a fugitive.
Hardpoint active.
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Well, she keeps threatening her.
Stop it.
Well, she keeps on threatening me. I have stopped her. She keeps on.
well, she got out of the restraints.
She keeps on. Threatening me. I will for you. She keeps threatening me.
Put your arm down.
Well, she keeps threatening me the whole time.
Tisha?
I said I would. Then give me your arm now. Well, I said I would with you. I said I would with you. I said I would with you. I'm just asking to breathe. That's it. Just to breathe. That's all I want you to breathe. You're hurting my arm.
My phone is jacked.
You're hurting my arm. You're hurting my arm. I just want my arm. It's hurting my arm. Just let my arm out.
It is ironic that Letitia complains about not being able to breathe, about how her arm hurts, and how she's uncomfortable. Yet, when she did even worse to poor Gannon, she was filled with nothing but ecstasy and couldn't help but laugh in the face of the officers. Even more tragically, the circumstances that Gannon's body was found in would prove that his death was not instant. It was slow and painful. On March 17, 2020, 49 days after his murder, a maintenance worker found a suitcase under Escambia Bay Bridge in Pace, Florida, 1,300 miles away from the Stouch home. And inside was Gannon's body. Autopsies done on the body showed high levels of acetaminophen and hydrocodone. While these are generally pain medications, hydrocodone was never prescribed to Gannon. It was prescribed to his father, Albert Stouch, who kept the prescription hidden in his nightstand, the location of which only Letitia was aware of. This means he was forcibly drugged to reduce the pain of his injuries, possibly in an attempt to fuel Letitia's sick fantasies. However, this was not the end of it. A gunshot wound in his jaw meant that after Letitia had her fun, she ended his life almost immediately. For nearly 2 months, Letitia was well aware of all these crimes. When she was finally put to trial, phone calls would be shown in court with Letitia begging Albert to stop cooperating with investigators so she could get immunity.
I need to know something about my son. I need to know something about Gannon. Do you know if he's safe? Do you know, is he safe? Where is he at? Do you have anything?
And if I killed Gannon, really?
What about this? I'm trying to think of any way to cue the police to offer you immunity if they can, okay?
Because they'll try to incriminate me for this. I need immunity.
I think they give it to you because this is big that he was there and they missed it. Because then they're going to want to cover their shit for not finding him.
Regardless of these desperate attempts, Albert continued to cooperate with authorities to convict Letitia of her crimes. 3 years later, on May 8th, 2023, Letitia's trial concluded. A life sentence in prison without parole plus 156 years. The maximum possible sentence under Colorado law.